This is very interesting. We don't have many guests that come in who, depending on how old you are, you have a different reference point. If you're one fan of Dave Foley, it's Kids in the Hall. News Radio is another set. My kids, little kids, I said, hey, the guy from Sky High is going to be on the show, and they about had a heart attack. Hi, Dave Foley.
Hi, good morning.
Good to see you, man.
Nice to see you.
Little kids. My kids are like, oh, my God, really?
Yeah. Sky High is definitely big with the kids. My daughter's school, they all love Sky High.
Yeah, you were Mr. Bob?
I was Mr. Boy.
Mr. Boy.
A formerly All-American Boy, sidekick to, what was Kurt Russell's character, the Hammer? Or something like that.
I don't know what it was.
I forget now, yeah.
Now, Greg, don't distract him because he's
wait a
about
minute.
to handle hot water
here.
So we read, we try to read up on people, and we find out that you are a coffee connoisseur. You love the coffee.
Yeah, more an addict than a connoisseur.
Okay, well, let's go addict. That's fine. That's hot. Yep, that's hot there.
Yeah,
and I noticed I was watching you do something with somebody else, actually a podcast with somebody, and you had a French press sitting there, and you were brewing your coffee and drinking.
I'm not urinating on the air. I'm making coffee. For those of you who are listening. And
then I said to myself, Greg, you have a French press you have never used, and so I grabbed it out of the cabinet, took the price tag off of it, and brought it in this morning. But I was afraid to do it because I didn't know exactly how to do it. So, what is the French press process?
This basically you just fill it up with coffee and water.
So the coffee's down at the bottom already.
Yeah, the coffee's there,
and then
it's gonna be good and strong.
There's some more hot water there if you need more.
Maybe a little more.
Okay, a little more. And then you...
you just let it sit for a while.
Yeah.
Like steeping a fine pot of tea.
No, I did not know that.
And then when you're ready, you just put the press down and push all the coffee to the bottom, and then you can drink it.
That is so great, Dave Foley. You know what's great about Dave Foley is he can come halfway across the country to do comedy, but also show us cooking tips.
Yes, and while that's steeping, I'll drink the cup of coffee I brought.
What is the deal with that? How did that happen? How did you become a coffee addict?
Basically, it was a product of having no natural energy. Like that
Zero.
That if it wasn't for caffeine, my normal state of consciousness would be asleep.
Oh, wow. You got to get something to get you up then.
So it started I guess it really started when I was working in restaurants as a kid. So I just found that if I drank enough coffee, I could simulate being alive.
Have you ever tried to stop it?
Yes, it's horrifying.
It is. It is. I did too. It is.
Yeah,
you get headaches, shakes. It's terrible.
Yeah, I don't drink as much as I used to. Like news radio days, I was drinking like 50 cups during a work day.
Holy smokes! Has the doctor ever said that at any point you should stop doing that?
Well, the doctors usually they tell them that, then they go, well, if your blood pressure wasn't so great, I would say don't drink that much.
What would your blood pressure be without coffee?
Again, about 0. I mean, my blood wouldn't flow.
10/5.
Yeah, my heart would just sort of go, oh, whatever. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, it beat like once a day.
What is? I hate to just keep talking about coffee, but you're addicted, so let's do it. What's your favorite kind of coffee? Because the coffee we brought today, I found this in my cupboard. It's Ethiopian mezcal.
Oh,
well, that sounds fancy, and it's in blue.
Yeah,
it's in a blue bag. But if you had to choose your coffee,
generally speaking, my favorite cup of coffee is the one in my hand.
Oh, okay.
Because if you're drinking 15 a day, you don't have time to be picky about it.
Right, just whatever.
Whatever about the fifth, you couldn't really discern taste anyway.
No,
right?
No, it's whatever office coffee is available. That's,
and you have killed your taste buds 20 years ago.
Oh yeah,
I mean they're gone. They're not tasting anything.
No.
Do you ever had that coffee that it's made out of bird doo doo?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Cat, wasn't it cat?
Or cat.
No,
or
what is the bird? Isn't it bird?
There's one that's
an
made
animal.
Cat.
Cat?
An animal.
Really?
Yeah, it's like $70 a cup or something.
Yeah, I haven't tried that. I haven't had the desire to.
Yeah, we were trying to think, and who even thought of that? Like, okay, let's take this cat poop, let's dry it, and then drink it.
Yeah, but then again, whoever looked at a field of wheat and said that looks delicious?
Yeah,
you know.
Dan asked a question to me before you got here. Why? Here's a guy who's been very successful. You're from all decades, really. I mean, you've been you can't turn on the TV without seeing your face on something, right?
I know. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, we like it. And why go out on the tough road? It's tough to be out on the circuit of doing stand up.
Well, part of it was just to be able to get out and perform live again, because I love performing live with the kids in the hall. We do that every few years.
You still do?
Yeah.
You guys still do it?
We've done it. Last time we did it was 2008.
It's
but it's hard to get organized.
But I was going to say it's different though when you got a group. Everybody's got to get together and rehearse and write and all those things.
Yeah, so it's very portable. I always envied my stand-up friends because they could just go out and travel.
Yeah, you got a suitcase.
Yeah, and that's it. And and then on top of that, of course, I have 2 ex-wives, so that's another incentive.
I get it. There's an asterisk there.
Yeah.
And you have children, right? So you got kids to buy Christmas presents and get braces and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
How old are they?
My eldest are 2017.
Yeah.
And then I have a 9-year-old daughter in L.A.
Yeah, we like that. Dan and I are guys your age generally with young kids, so we always like it when we get a guy in here like that.
Yeah.
Because we're working until we're 70. I mean, we're we got to just keep going.
And then dying, right? Because retirement's not an issue.
Oh, no, there's going to be no retirement. There's no retirement at all.
No.
I got to ask you about a character. This is was only a short-lived thing. But it impacted me so much because you were so great at being creepy and sad on Desperate Housewives.
Oh, right.
What was that character's name? Do you remember that character's
name? I forget.
But you were like a guy that was stalking.
Was in love with Tori Hatcher. From high school.
Oh my God. You played that so well that it bothered me.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
I'm not kidding you. That was like, that guy, I don't want to watch that.
That was fun to do. Yeah, a guy who was still in love with and offers his kidneys to her, and then and then when she won't date him, takes the offer back.
Right on her deathbed almost.
Yeah,
that was cool. So those things, how does that work for you when you're out and about? Do people just are you on a short list? Do you feel like you're in a position that people think of you all the time for things because you show up all the time?
I get called, fairly often. Yeah, to show up and do shows. Yes, like that was just, it was a call saying there's this part on Desperate Housewives they want you to do, and I thought, oh, okay, that sounds like it'll be fun.
Is that a week, 2 weeks? Is that a month?
About a week. For, like the shoot that was like for my. I shot for a few days.
Yeah, but that's nice.
Yeah. It's like when I get back to LA, I'm doing a couple of episodes of Hot in Cleveland coming up.
Hot in Cleveland is the one
Betty
White show.
Yeah.
Have you met Betty White before?
I did. I did a bit on their show in their first season. And that was the first time I met her. She's amazing. She's really great.
It's unbelievable, really.
Even naturally, does she have a great comedic timing sense?
She's very funny. She's really sharp. Yeah. She's like, she's as funny as anybody in the room.
Now, for folks who and I hope you take this as for what it's worth. When people hear you're at the jukebox, they're like, oh, I didn't realize he did single stand-up stuff. Used to being in the ensemble stuff and on TV. What is their style for folks who want to come tonight and see you? What are you going to?
It's basically I guess it's fairly. What would you say? It's basically dealing with sex, politics, and religion. So anything you should avoid while talking to family.
Oh, good. Like just in the holidays last week.
Things
you did not
basically
talk about.
That's it. Yeah. Because stand-up is nice because it's not a conversation.
You can say whatever you want.
Yeah,
and they don't have to. They can't talk back. They shouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Conlon does a wonderful job of keeping the heckling down.
They're a very polite audience.
Very nice. Every time you go to the jukebox, Dave Foley will be at the jukebox tonight and tomorrow night, 8 and 10:30. 2 shows tonight and tomorrow night. You call 673-5853. Or go to jukeboxcomedy.com and you can pay for the tickets and get that all taken care of, and then just show up and have a great time tonight or tomorrow. Stick around for a little bit, Dave Foley.
All right.
And we will come back and check traffic and weather coming up in a couple of minutes. Comedy Club, 2 shows tonight and tomorrow night. News Radio, a lot of people remember you from News Radio. There's various people, Kids in the Hall. There's a group over there. There's News Radio. There's a group over there. As I was telling you earlier, my little kids remember you from a movie called Sky High that came out a few years ago with Kurt Russell. News Radio, I have this theory. We in radio looked to that show as a snapshot of what we do. It's what we do. We have the same setup. It's the same characters, crazy people. But you were the sane one on the show. You were the wise.
Yes, arguably.
Yeah. Arguably. But here's what I believe to be true. I believe we all thought we were you.
Yeah.
Every one of us.
Yeah.
But in reality, none of us were or are. We were all the other. We're the Phil Hartmans. We're the Joe Rogan characters. We're the big guy that ran the place, the crazy guy that was the boss.
Steve,
all of that. but we wanted to pretend that we were you, wise,
dealing with the frustrations of being surrounded by insane people.
Exactly, but we're the insane people.
Which
day.
I'm pretty sure that's how I felt making news radio too. I
Really?
felt like I was the sane one in a cast of mad people.
Was that a good group of people? I mean, did you guys get along? Did you like each other?
We were very tight as a group on that show. Tighter than I think is usual on television. Like not even just the cast. Like the cast were all really good friends, but we were also the writing staff.
Right.
We were all tight with the writing staff and our crew. So like after shows, after a show, like everyone would hang out. Like the crew, the writing staff, all the office staff, and everyone would just hang out together till dawn after every show. And
drinking it up
and talking, and just everybody felt like this was like a special time in our lives.
So how much did that help just on the show naturally with the timing? It was probably came very natural then, right?
Yeah, well, because we were all such a tight family there, which was weird. I think it has to do with Paul Simms and the way he cast the show. He managed to, I guess, find people that he wanted to hang out with. And we wound up all sort of liking to hang out with each other. Like even from the first table read, we all felt like we were old friends.
I think regardless of whether you're in show business or whatever business you're in, if you can find that group of people that you just love going to work with every day because you like them as people, that is very special. And you know it sometimes when it's happening that it's not going to last, especially in that your business you're in.
Yeah.
And so you hold on to it.
Yeah, and
squeeze
for us,
every
every year was. Every year we thought we were going to be canceled, so every year was a great treat when we got to come back.
And the sad part of that, of course, is in the middle of all of that, Phil Hartman's murdered by his wife, and that just a horrific story. And so now you are a tight group of people. How did you manage to keep going? That's a very tough thing for anybody, let alone try to be doing something funny.
It was a huge blow. I mean, it was obviously a huge shock. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, we all knew there was trouble with Phil and his wife.
Right.
I mean, there was trouble with every marriage on that show at the time. But it happened early in our hiatus. We were all off on our break doing stuff. I mean, I was in Toronto shooting a movie when I found out about it, and so there was time to sort of digest it a little. So we didn't really have to think about come back. We didn't really have to think about are we going to go back to work after this for a little while. And then it was, then there was a lot of phone calls back and forth, and then we all got back together in L.A. to meet up and talk and figure out what we wanted to do. And it was our director, Tom Sharonis, at the time, who sort of just said, he's sort of the one that said, look, she's taking Phil away. Let's not let her take each other away. And let's get back to work.
Pretty good.
How much jealousy did she have with the show? Because you were all tight, you hung out and drank till dawn and all that. Did she feel some sort of jealousy towards you?
I'm sure. I mean, as I said, pretty much there was a lot of people on the show were in bad relationships at the time, myself included, at the start of that show, and and it was and news radio was sort of a safe place where everyone wanted to hang out and hide out from their lives a lot of the time. So I'm sure that's
very interesting. Yeah. Dave Foley at Jukebox tonight and tomorrow night. You can stick around for a little bit longer, eh?
Yeah.
Did you see I did a Canada thing?
You said a name.
I did. I didn't mean to do that. That was just naturally. It just
is it a Midwestern thing too?
It is today. It is today. Dave Foley in our studio, and he's at the Jukebox tonight and tomorrow night. 673-5853 or jukeboxcomedy.com. Greg and Anna, WMBD 738. Dave Foley's at the Jukebox Comedy Club. Kids in the Hall, News Radio, Will and Grace, on and on and on. Prep and Landing, we were just talking about that. Wait a minute, stand by, Dan. Could you put that up by the microphone?
There we go.
Again, make your disclaimer.
Yes, I'm not urinating.
Okay.
I'm preparing some coffee, which is in a way preparation for urination.
In a way, it is.
Yeah.
That is true. I never had. Could I have some of that French press coffee? Could you pour me some? Here. Just give me my cup right here.
Let me see if it's good.
We knew you were a coffee addict. You said the word addict. I said a connoisseur.
I may have added, it's a little cool, and I may have added a little bit too much water to it.
Okay, that's all right. That's enough. That's good. I don't need that. I had to cut back. You have not cut back, so
I've cut back a lot since my news radio days.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 50 cups now down to what? 25 maybe.
No, I don't know. Maybe down to even like 10.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
And but because I don't have a props department feeding it to me all day anymore.
Yeah, that does help. Hey, let's talk about Will and Grace there for a second.
Sure.
That was a fun run.
I want to know what happened behind when the cameras were off, because that crew looked talented and crazy.
Dead silence off camera. No one spoke. No one made eye contact. It was horrifying. No, it was it was pretty fun. I mean, yeah, you had a lot of very funny people in there, and then you also had, because Sean Hayes and Megan Mullally are great, the support characters in that show, and and John Cleese was on the shows when I was
forgot
there.
about that. Yeah,
and
well, that had to be a treat. Let's stop right there because Kids in the Hall, you had to compare yourself. At least, well, maybe you didn't, but we did.
Well, I grew up with watching
Monty Python. And what do you think when people put you guys in the same sentence?
It's still thrilling to me. Like when people, will like list comedy shows and Kids in the Hall is in the list with Monty Python and SCTV and Saturday Night Live. That's. I mean, what else can you ask for as a
nothing?
comedian?
But it's true, and I know you're a very humble guy, but that's true. That's how we think of it.
Yeah,
those four are probably all in the same group.
To be in that pantheon, let's call it. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Did you ever
meeting Cleese was very intimidating?
Was it?
Yeah, that was like the first table read. I was very nervous about meeting him because Python and Fawlty Towers are two of the greatest things ever put on television, and. As I finally decided, all right, let's get up after the table and say, Mr. Cleese, I just want to say, it's such a thrill for me to get to meet you and work with you, and I just want to get that out of the way. And John turned to the first AD in the show and said, "Who is this? Do I have to be nice to him?"
Perfect. That's exactly what you wanted, man.
Yeah.
That is exactly
well, you grew
wanted.
up in Canada, and I know there was a lot of, growing up in the States, a lot of people loved Saturday Night Live, but I thought SCTV was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I grew up on SCTV. That was like, I used to live in a small town. We had very poor reception. I used to spend like 2 hours every week tuning in global TV. I was up in the attic, like shifting the antenna around on the floor of the attic because my dad wouldn't pay for a rotor. And to tune it in so we could watch, the whole family could watch SCTV.
Stuff,
Well, growing up, your dad was, I read this, is it right? Your dad was a steam fitter?
Yeah.
So a hard-working man, blue-collar kind of
construction
household.
family, union family.
Did he expect that from you?
What, did I become a construction worker?
Well, yeah, that you'd follow along, because that happens
I don't think he was
lot.
that aware of me.
I didn't even know you were in the house.
Or any of us, really.
How many kids?
There was 4 of us.
Yeah.
He, no, I don't know what he expected of me, really. I know he was disappointed in me as a hockey player. But when I was a teenager, he used to come out to see me do stand-up when I was first starting out.
That's cool. That's supportive. That's good.
Yeah.
Did he ever give you hints? Steam fitters are funny.
No, he was he was big comedy fan. I mean, my family were all big comedy fans. I mean, when I was like 6 years old, they would keep us up to watch Python.
My gosh, those are good parents.
Yeah, so we get to stay up late to watch Python when it was first running on TV. And there was the one thing our family all did together was watch comedy. It was like whether it was watching MASH or Mary Tyler Moore or All in the Family or British, all the British sitcoms that used to run on in Canada at the time. So that was a big part of our family was basically ingesting comedy.
Right. Let's talk Canada. Let's talk Justin Bieber.
Okay.
What does Canada think of Justin Bieber?
We're immensely proud of him. This is the proudest we've been. I think. I'm trying to think. Going back to the invention of the mobile hospital unit, another Canadian invention.
I didn't know that's a good list. I didn't know that.
But yeah, no, he's. I don't really like. I honestly couldn't tell you a single song of his, because I'm male and over 40, and not gay.
It doesn't matter.
And
it is always fun to me to I'm stereotyping here. Every person that comes out of Canada that's made a name for themselves, such as yourself, they're all very nice. There's a niceness about people from Canada.
Well, people from Canada, sure. People in Canada are horrible.
So the nice people leave.
Oh, we're forced out.
Oh, I got it. I didn't know that's how that went.
We basically are just abused and we leave weeping. Because the Canadians that stay are just the most obnoxious people on earth.
Wow.
So the United States is like one big penalty box, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
You get out of here. You're too nice.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Bringing your niceness to us.
Well, thank
Their
you.
loss, our gain. We were talking off air a little bit about doing Broadway or doing any kind of live theater stuff. Have you done that? Would you do that?
I would. I never have. In the past, it's always one of the things. There's sometimes be opportunities to go do Broadway, but then it would always be like, I can't afford to go do Broadway because, again, I have ex-wives. And for a little while, I'd done one song in a musical show in L.A. called White Trash Wins Lotto, which is sort of an operetta about Axl Rose. and I talked about it on Conan O'Brien about being in the show. And then I started getting all these calls from Broadway to musicals. Like every 6 months, they'd ask me to try out for the producers, and I'd have to keep saying, they said, "Can you fly out this week and try out?" And I'd say, I don't sing or dance. I would need a couple months to get ready, And so I would keep turning that down. I think I got offered Seussical.
The Dr. Seuss thing.
Yeah. And that's what I said. And Finian's Rainbow. That was another one I got called about.
Wow.
And I just kept, and my second wife is like a trained like theater actor, like sing, song and dance,
Sure.
and it just drove her crazy. That just
she's busting her butt to try to get something, right?
Yeah,
and you're out there turning them
I said,
down.
well, you should have a TV show. Apparently, that's what you need to be on Broadway. Is you got to be on a TV show.
I read you say, I don't know where I saw this. I was reading some stuff, and you said that you fame is a funny thing because you always thought other people were famous, and that there must be something special about being famous.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't remember saying that, but that sounds like me.
But that you John Cleese, for instance. You see
Yeah.
John Cleese, and you go, that dude, look at that's John Cleese. Do you? You should understand that's how people look at you.
It's hard to make that mental leap because I feel so mundane within my own soul.
Isn't that interesting though? But at the same time, it's refreshing because you could go the other way and come walking in the studio or wherever else you might walk in and be a jerk.
You mean like Pauly Shore?
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Pauly Shore. Dan, sorry, Conlon.
Yeah.
You could go that route if you wanted to, but so it is an interesting gameplay that you play in your head.
Yeah, well, I guess the thing I realized about fame pretty early on is that it's something that the observer perceives, not the observed. Like I'm only famous if somebody watching me says I am. All it takes is for me to be in a room where the only person there doesn't know who I am, and then I'm not famous.
Yeah.
Until I can find somebody that knows me, then I'm famous again.
Well, or they come up to you and you make the mistake of saying of introducing yourself, and they go, "Well, I know who you are," but if you didn't introduce yourself, assuming they knew who you are and they didn't know you from a hole in the wall, then you look like a complete idiot.
I know. The worst thing is some people will come up to me in the street. And I don't understand this, but they'll go, "Hey, Dave, how's it going?" And I'll go, "Oh, hey, how you doing, man?" And then they'll go, "You don't know me." So I assumed we knew each other. You greeted me like we knew each other. I was trying to be polite.
Yeah,
you showbiz phony. I was trying to be polite.
That is hilarious. Well, tonight when you go to the jukebox or tomorrow night, you talk to Dave and say hello to him, and then when he says how you doing, say something nice back. That would be a good thing to do.
Just common courtesy, people.
Do you ever find yourself though, kind of explaining? Maybe it's to someone younger, whoever hasn't seen you, explaining who you are. Like John Candy in Home Alone. You know me, polka, 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 all that.
Oh, yes.
Do you ever find yourself into that position?
Oh, yeah, way too often. On almost every flight I go on, Especially if, like, one person, like, if somebody recognizes me and comes up to me at, like, an airport, and then somebody else will say, "Hey, I saw them ask you for an autograph. Who are you?" And I go, "Well, I don't know. Do you ever see Kids?" "Oh, nope." And you just read, "Nope." No, I've never saw that. What movies you been in? I've been in like about 40 movies. What are they?
Here we go.
Yeah, go through. Nope.
Greg and Dan on WMBD 755. Dave Foley is in our studio. He's at Jukebox Comedy Club on Farmington Road tonight and tomorrow night. 2 shows, 673-5853 or jukeboxcomedy.com. Talk animated for a minute. You were in Bug's Life, Bug's Life.
Yeah, I was Flick in A Bug's Life.
Flick.
I was the lead ant.
Was that your... That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Not that many people can say that.
Yeah.
That's why they kicked you out of Canada, too. Was that your first animated gig?
It was, yeah. Well, I mean, I'd done an animated series years and years earlier in Toronto that I don't think ever aired. Was one of those shows that just sells a toy.
Right.
But yeah, that was my first
fun,
real
not
animated
fun,
gig.
hard. What's the story on doing those?
It's kind of hard in that you feel ridiculous when you're because you're standing alone in a room for the most part. You know, like it's like they're standing alone, yelling and getting excited about things that aren't happening,
Right.
And you're very dependent on the directors to make sure that everything makes sense. Which for me, I had John Lasseter and Andrew Stanton were the co-directors of A Bug's Life.
And so they had to keep you in context of
they were
whatever's
and they do all the other characters'
Yeah.
lines.
Yes, I asked you off the air. I said, "Is it ensemble?" Especially when you do ensemble shows. I'm thinking like from Monsters Inc. to do whatever. Wouldn't you want to be in the same room to play off each other to get a flavor? But you don't really get a chance to do that, do you?
No, usually on Bug's Life, I never met any of the other cast members. Like I have all these scenes with. Oh man, I'm blanking on his name now. Who was Hopper? He's a great actor from Usual Suspects and everything. Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey. Yeah. Like Kevin Spacey. I have all these scenes with Kevin Spacey, and I've never met Kevin Spacey. I've seen,
That's cool. That's weird and cool.
Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is my love interest in the movie, and I never met her until the premiere.
Isn't that's something? Now you got a new one. I didn't realize you were involved in the prequel to Monsters Inc., which is
Monsters University. Monsters
that's when
U.
all the monsters are at school.
It's how Mike and Sully meet up
Right.
at Scare University.
What are you playing? What's your role?
Well, I'm actually working again with Sean Hayes from Will and Grace, and he and I are playing a two-headed monster named Terry. And in this one, it's nice because they are bringing Sean and I in together for all of our recording sessions.
Well, that'll be fun, right?
Yeah, it's been great because so we do the script, and then they'll usually ask Dan Scanlon, who's directing it, will let Sean and I improvise and play around with the dialogue, and they let us talk over each other and argue. And
cool.
So
is that the
really
context?
fun.
It's a two-headed monster that you don't get along.
It's like they're siblings that don't really get along, that fight and are embarrassed by each other, and.
That's a great concept. Yeah. Now, you've got kids. We mentioned that earlier. They're not little kids anymore, but your 9-year-old loves the fact that Dad's in an animated movie. Must be thrilling.
She does. Oh, yeah. She's very excited about that. And she's obviously very proud of the fact that I was in A Bug's Life.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Especially because we get all kinds of perks at Disneyland.
Good. Is that true, or is that?
It's true.
Oh, good.
Yeah, very nice treatment at Disneyland.
I bet you do.
Yeah, my daughter is an actress as well. Yeah.
Oh, is she? What's she doing?
She's on the show called The League right now.
I've heard it
on FX.
I'm aware of it. I don't watch it. But.
And she co-starred with Jackie Chan in a movie when she was 5.
What?
Yeah, a movie called The Spy Next Door.
I remember that movie.
Yeah, she was the little girl in that.
I'll be darned. Oh, that's a pretty proud thing for Dad, I would think.
She's
Why,
really
does sometimes her checks look bigger than your checks?
They in fact are. They don't just look at it.
They actually are.
Yeah.
And again, she doesn't have 2 ex-wives.
She doesn't, not yet, but
there's time.
Give her time. Yeah.
Dave, it is an absolute treat to have you in Peoria. I know this is your first time in town, I think.
It is,
right?
yeah.
Well, I hope you have a great time at the Jukebox. The audiences there are always great. 673-5853, jukeboxcomedy.com. So 8 and 10:30, pick your show. Dave will make you laugh and hang out and say, when he says, "Hey, how's it going?" you say, "Good."
Yeah,
it's good. That's the answer we want you to get.
Yeah, just like you'd say to a normal person.
To a regular guy. Thanks, David. Nice to see you, sir.
All right, thanks a lot for having me.
We appreciate it.